Ladies and gentlemen, we'll call this May meeting of the Board of Carroll County License Commissioners to order. It has been tradition for many, many years that we begin our meetings with the pledge to the flag and observe a moment of silence. It is strictly voluntary. With that, Commissioner Barnhart.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You be seated. Our first agenda item on the business meeting is approval of minutes from April, which you all should have received, and also have a copy in front of you. Are there any corrections or additions?
No.
Hearing none, they'll stand approved. First item of business is a one-day liquor license request from the Carroll County FOP to hold an indoor cornhole tournament on June 2nd at the Carroll County Ag Center. Gentlemen, please, excuse me, state your name and address for the record. And that microphone is on, just pull it in front of you. Okay. Tell us what you want to do and who's going to win and who's not going to win?
Russ Taranjo, 359 Manchester Road, Westminster, Maryland. I'm the vice president of the lodge. We're holding a cornhole tournament to raise funds for our Officer Assistance Fund for injured officers and other ailments and everything else. Just serving beer. Everyone will be carded, wristbands and everything to those likes. Just indoor sales and consumption, nothing outside.
Good morning, Kyle Sheeks. I'm the treasurer for the FOP 359 Manchester Avenue, Westminster, Maryland. Like Russ said, the event will be supervised by the executive board for the FOP, as well as some volunteer members from the FOP as well for any sales of the beers.
This is at the Ag Center,
That's correct.
Correct, in the Shipley Arena.
the Shipley Arena.
Yes, sir.
Must be going to be a pretty good sized event, you hope.
We hope so. It's our first time, so.
Hoping and expecting 150. So we'll have a good amount of space for 150 people.
Well, have you had any trouble with the manager of the Ag Center?
I can never find her.
I think she's going to appear after a while, that's the reason I asked. Any questions?
Is it an all ages event? And you'll be what, carding for purchase or carding for entrance?
So the event, you have to register for the event,
Okay.
pay for registration. It's open to family members as well, but we will be carding for any sales.
We'll card at the door and wristband at the door.
Commissioner, any questions?
I have no questions.
No questions.
Gentlemen, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you fill the place up.
Me too.
Okay, one-day liquor license request for an outdoor and indoor Carroll County Celtic Festival on June the 8th and 9th at the Ag Center.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Heather. State your name and address, please, for the record.
Heather Kirkendall, 3006 Marston Road, Westminster.
You're going to have a Celtic Festival.
Yes. It's an Irish, Scottish festival. We had one last year.
So this is the second year?
But it's.
It's a different nonprofit
Yeah.
that's sponsoring it.
So this year, the Ag Center sponsored.
No,
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
what it says, I don't,
Clan Bell Society.
yeah, Clan Bell Society is a
Who's the
non,
Clan Bell Society?
it is one of the, they call them clans. Their clans are families of Irish or Scottish descent. And that's one of the clans that will be there representing the Celtic Festival.
Everybody wearing their tartans.
Uh-huh.
When you first, I was taking notes and I put down clam when
Oh,
you first said
clan
that.
with an N, yes.
How are you involved in the Klan group?
I am an honorary member of the Clan Bell and representing Nancy Worley, who is the promoter of the event herself. The two of them are putting it together.
Heather, if I asked you a dumb question, consider the source.
It's okay.
Are these local people? Carroll County people?
There may be some from in part of the clans, but are you talking about the people that are putting it together?
Yes.
No.
You mentioned Morley, who,
Nancy Worley,
Worley.
yes. She's the lady that is organizing it, and the Clan Bell Society is the nonprofit that is doing it with her.
So Bell is the, I just Googled it, so the Bell is the family name.
Yes.
The clan, and so it's
Yes.
descendants and.
Yeah, and it's also an educational festival. It's not just drinking beer. They have a live history. They're having Highland cows, they have sheep herding, they have Irish dancing, as well as Celtic music and bands. They're doing an Irish whiskey tasting. Trying to think what else. They have athletic games. So it's,
Will they have pole tossing?
yes, and boulder tossing.
Yeah, okay. So it's like a shalaya?
That could, yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, yes.
And it benefits, well, you say it's educational, so I guess it benefits the community about the culture of Ireland and Wales.
And they also have, they have bagpipers, and they do have, the clans set up their own booth, and they have one section you can go in and learn to speak Gaelic, and you can also do the genealogy on your family history to see which clan you belong to.
And there's a mission?
Yes.
What are the ticket prices?
It's either 15 or 20.
Where will the alcohol be set up? Is it multiple areas or?
So they have an inside beer court in the Shipley Arena, and then on the map there, just outside the Shipley Arena, they have one for the outside, because they're setting up a big tent for the bands right next to the outside. But it's all within the gates of the Ag Center, so nobody is walking out of the gates with alcohol. Something like the wine festival.
So the area where the beer is going to be provided outside is not roped off from the rest of the premises. You're using the gates as your barrier.
Yes.
George, is your tie your clan?
It's my mother's, yeah. Anderson.
So will they be carding upon entrance or
Yes.
upon, okay.
Yes.
And then wristbands, I'm assuming?
Wristbands, uh-huh. I believe she's planning on, depending on where they're parking, she may have two gates, but right now it's just one gate before you enter into the Buckmiller Arena, if you're familiar with the dirt arena where they have the tractor pulls.
Will you be there?
Yes,
Speaking of the tractor pull,
I know, I forgot. I thought I already
Shame
had it.
on you.
I'm sorry, I put two in at the same time, and I did not even, it didn't, we, I'm overwhelmed at work, I'm sorry.
About how many people were there last year, do you know?
For the Celtic Festival,
Yeah.
it was a one-day festival last year, and she had 4,000.
And this is gonna be, what, a Saturday and Sunday?
Yes.
Any other questions?
No.
No.
Any objections?
No.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't for-
We're
don't
gonna
for-
hand deliver it just so you won't.
Sorry.
don't forget to pick up the paper.
I know, I need help. I'm trying to find somebody to help me.
I know
He's
somebo-
been in
I
my
know some-
office, it looks like a bomb went off.
I know somebody can help you.
Who's that?
He's got a white Ford pickup that he went down on Southern Maryland to buy. He doesn't have nothing to do, so
Yeah, he can be my Walmart greeter, but I don't know how much help he'll be in my office.
well, if,
Thank you.
if he holds somebody up, you know how he talks, so
Yes, yes. Right.
he's a good greeter.
Yes, he is. That's what we call him at the farmer's market. He shows up, and if he doesn't know you when you get there, he knows you by the
When he
time you
left.
leave. so.
That's right.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, good luck.
Appreciate it.
Got a request from Mobile VFW Post asking permission to serve alcohol in their pavilion year-round for various events.
Wow, where's that?
It's a
That's
VFW in Westminster, it's their pavilion right
Oh, it's
outside there,
Oh, it's
yeah.
called Mulville Farm?
Yeah, that's the correct name of it.
Oh, okay.
They've
It was
asked for permission.
Suggestion, just making sure, instead of giving multiple dates, just have permission to use it outside the whole time.
I'm sorry, what?
Instead of submitting multiple dates and times.
Any objection?
No objection. Did you want to see the letter?
No, I don't need to see it. You want to see it, George?
No. If you don't need it, I don't need it.
Request from City Park Gaming to participate in the City of Westminster's Flower and Jazz Festival in the same manner as they did for the wine stroll on May 11th.
They had the parking lot behind, well, it's actually in front of their business, but behind Main Street, they want to rope off that area and have a small outdoor area, drinking area.
That's what they did. We just approved them for the same thing, right?
Correct.
I have no objection.
No objection.
Request from Lost Line to be able to participate in the beer and barbecue stroll on June the 15th.
Do you want to see the letter?
This is a repeat, right?
Yeah.
No problems, right?
No problem.
Any objections?
No objections.
Member from Francisco de Fada that Bellisimo's is closed as of 5/2, but their license will be transferred in the future.
You, about 2 to 4 months out, we should be seeing a new application for a new Italian restaurant going in that location.
I read an article about that. Who's the new owners? They have other places too,
Yeah.
don't they?
They have two, like Severna Park, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember the names in there.
So the license, what's on the shelf for 2 months or whatever,
Yes,
and that's okay?
I've talked to the state, Lou Berman is the state ATCC, and he has no problem, no time limit, there is nothing in our regs or rules or regs.
So the license was renewed, though?
Yes, it was
Okay.
renewed, it's a valid license,
Right, that's what, yeah.
and they want to transfer, a little bit cheaper to transfer than getting a new application, a new license.
Gotcha.
So he's just notifying us,
Yep.
right? I see the article they had in the paper mentioned that ever since Anna left, did
Yeah.
she go to leave, I don't mean leave town per se, but move out of Maryland or something, or she's no longer associated with the other two carryouts? Do you know? I
Can
don't
we-
know.
I do know, I've read, talk off record on that question.
Okay, one-day liquor license applications for an outdoor event by Common Ground on the Hill to hold their 11 for a music festival at the Farm Museum on June the 2nd. Farm Museum's going to be busy.
Multiple times we've done this, they've
Yeah.
done this, no problem.
Didn't they used to have it at the college?
Yeah.
Yes, they had it at college.
Way to
I
get
guess
to-
they don't want to be on a hill anymore.
Well, this one, they have, it's the Deer Creek Fiddlers Convention. They've written in ink at the bottom of this page. Is that what it is? It's the Fiddlers Convention?
Tim's a banjo player, he'll be there, right?
All right. so-
Maybe I'll pick that up later.
The fiddle we could borrow.
So, but Common Ground is still associated with the college. I mean, it's an organization that the college
Correct.
sponsors, right?
Yes. I guess they got bigger than the college grounds and they had to move it to something.
Okay.
They still hold the classes at the college.
Yeah, okay.
I
So
think
that,
that's like first couple of weeks in July, I
Mhm.
think.
yeah. So this application is merely for the musical performances?
So,
Is it-
so it looks to me like the Common Ground on the Hill wants to have a beer and wine garden at the Deer Creek's Fiddler Convention. So the event is not the Common Ground on the Hills. The event is the Deer Creek, Deer Park, what's it called, Deer Creek Fiddlers Convention, and they want to have a booth there. Is it, well, it says,
Doesn't-
we'll have a beer and wine garden at our June 2nd Deer Creek Fiddlers Convention. So they
Yeah, it's
sponsor.
under their
They
umbrella.
sponsor the Fiddlers Convention, gotcha. Have they ever had alcohol there before during the event?
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we used to give them permit at the
multiple years.
college for years.
This is at the Farm Museum, so... Okay, I see. I have no objection.
No objection.
Okay, no objection there, all right. That's the last item of business according to the business meeting agenda at this time. Will make any comments about tobacco or anything?
You mean this, we have this afternoon? We have two cases this afternoon? No, excuse me,
it's not
excuse me.
tobacco.
No, correct. Carroll County Sheriff's Office been doing tobacco checks, and recently they had 3 violations of liquor stores that sold tobacco to a minor. At this time, I wrote warnings to those establishments, Penmar Liquors, Tawnytown Liquors, and Country Liquors. Part of the warning is that they get a second violation, they would be called in front of the board for violation of Rule 7.
Why didn't we just violate them? Why did you give them a warning?
That's what Dave and I discussed a while ago before, when about 3 years ago, that was our stance. That's what we've always been, issue a warning the first time. We can change it if you want, if the board decides to change it, but the policy was written warning the first time. Because I don't know all the details, all I'm getting is off a police, off a citation. I can't bring the volunteer in if they want the volunteer to come and, testify. I don't know who the volunteer is. It'll be more difficult than our alcohol citations.
Well, if they were to challenge it, then wouldn't you have to bring in the,
The deputy and all that, yes. But by writing a warning, they've been notified of it, and if they have a second violation, failure to obey the written warning the first time, I can testify to that, and we can have a violation through that if everything else fails.
how would that work? How would that be any different than the first violation?
Because I told them that they have to obey by Rule 7, they have to obey all local rules, And by them not listening to me and not doing what I told them to do, and then having a second violation for it being, we could charge them also. We would still have to bring the deputy in, we still have to bring the volunteer in if they contested.
Right.
There is,
Much easier, okay, sorry, excuse me.
there's a violation. The violation goes along with a fine
They get fined,
from the
the
Comptroller's office.
first fine is $300, and I was just told by the FOP, when he does it, it's actually going to be bumped to $500 for the first fine, and then $1,000, and, excuse me, second offense is suspension of 90 days of selling tobacco
And the fine is paid to who?
to the state. It's a state run, it's run through the health department.
Right, so they're in violation of our rules,
Correct.
even for the first one. And
Correct.
so we can fine additionally if we wanted to.
Right.
Can you tell me who that was again? Penmar Country?
Enmar, Tawnytown Liquors,
Thank you.
and Country Liquors, 140 Village.
And how are those two on alcohol violations? I don't have a recent wave chart.
Country Liquors,
Oh, here we go. Oh, this is not recent.
July 15, 2020, they had alcohol, only one they've had, they've been checked 9 times. Penmar Liquors had an alcohol violation on April 30th, 2021, they've been checked 3 times.
So what if they had an alcohol violation just before the tobacco violation? Would you still give them a warning?
At the time, yes, unless you guys advise me to do something different. Tawnytown Liquors had an alcohol violation on July 22nd, 2020. They were checked 6 times. And Tawnytown Liquors, they were just sold 2 years ago, new owner.
All right.
Anything else?
About tobacco or,
Routine business?
well, I gave you all a copy of the updated one-day application. I had emailed it to you and I think I made the changes that George wrote back to me. So I just wanted to make sure you guys are okay with us, with this application before I put it on the website or get it put on the website.
Actually, I don't see the change that I sent you. Unless, wasn't that in the first paragraph?
Well, maybe this isn't the most up-to-date one because I forgot I wanted to bring it and I got this from Keith, so maybe he didn't have the most up-to-date.
Yeah, this doesn't have the, I think the change was in the first paragraph because as we were talking, the citation in our application only applies to the last sentence. It doesn't apply to the prior sentences. And then you were going to put in AB 12,
Yeah,
301, and those two.
and that's what I emailed you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you emailed it to me, but you said okay. Actually, we talked about it. You said, yeah, it makes, anyhow, that's my suggestion.
Okay, well. I
That's
will-
the only thing that you had, if I
Right.
remember.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure I added what you.
Okay, yeah.
So then it's okay to
Yep.
go ahead and put on the web?
With the change, yes.
Yes.
It's okay with me.
Should we tell them if there have been changes to read carefully?
There's really no way.
There's no
because-
substantive, yeah, there's no substantive changes, really.
Yeah, and there's, I'm all the time telling people after the fact, you filled out an old application, you need to get the new application off the website. There's no way to contact
Okay.
these groups.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, what's this other thing here? You got a Westlaw, Maryland Code and
Well,
Court.
that was mine. I think George was sending it back to me. I was just trying to familiarize myself on a BR license because I couldn't find it in the book.
Well, why didn't you look further?
Well, now I find out there's a handout that George has it. Why he
Okay,
knows everything.
One more thing I want to add
what's this, all part of handout for the seminar?
for the seminar, yes. That handout's going to be given out when we do the video presentation at the first hour. As of yesterday, we had 14 people signed up for the seminar. We're still a month away. I know, it's nerve-wracking. I'm always trying to make
I'm sorry, you say 14?
14.
And the gal's gonna do this. You said 45 minutes.
Yes,
If there's any way she can cut this thing down, get her to do it,
okay,
because you're gonna lose them.
all right.
You're not only gonna lose them for this one, you're gonna lose them in the future, because they ain't gonna sit through it. My opinion.
I agree.
I agree. How many were there last year?
High 60s.
That's what I thought, there were a few, and only 14 this year so far, huh?
It's, the sign, and I'm, real nervous, but it seems like it always, the last week is when we get, everybody just signs up.
They made it easier, right, to sign
Yes.
up, so they don't have to go through the college website and,
Right, there's a link, there's a form that comes with the email
Okay.
that they can
Yeah, I
fill
thought
out,
I
and
had
then
seen that.
then they have to email that form into,
Okay.
the college.
okay.
We just sent out another reminder yesterday, so. But yeah, probably one of these days, we probably might want to talk about doing it every other year now. It's a possibility.
Or we could have a band, and that would bring people in.
Or you could DJ.
I should have asked Heather if she was gonna have them Celtic dancers and singers that every now and then when I was switching TV stations, I see. You ever watch them? They're good.
The river dance people?
Yeah.
Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen well, there's two. Riverdance is one. What's the other one?
I don't know.
I
don't
think
know, but
Riverdance is the one I've seen, but there's another one with Michael Flattery, who is the guy who,
See, he started river dance, so,
yeah, but I think he has a different,
I thought he stopped doing it, and, I don't know.
And
I
that's
saw
not
him
the,
at the
Tina,
lyric.
that's not the final version, but it's gonna look like it's very similar. The page numbers are all messed up, but
No, that's fine, I was
I
just
don't
seeing
know
what
how,
all
I
was
don't
in
know how
here.
that, them girls play them violins and dance like they do.
I've seen the teen, have you ever seen the teen version at Carroll Arts Center?
No.
They're really good too. They don't have all the singing and violins and everything, but just the dance.
Oh, that's just for show. I thought he'd give us all of them.
No, no, it's
That's
just
for
for show.
him.
He says it's gonna change, because that's pretty thick. Seems like a lot of information.
So there's a lady who's doing the presentation?
Apparently so.
Yeah, I didn't,
Holly somebody,
oh,
when he talked to me about it.
Can I see that,
you see that part?
I hadn't looked at this yet.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at that part either. I looked at this one to see, because I tried to watch,
Molly Mitchell.
I tried to watch the video and,
You know Molly?
Oh,
He did.
well, I have to find that.
Apparently he's willing to share.
Oh, okay.
and the thing too is this is just specifically to managing the bar, and then,
Well, that's why I said, I thought.
Yeah, but it included good stuff about
I don't know, we'll find out.
correlation between alcohol consumption
Yes.
and motor vehicle accidents,
Yep, yep,
which,
yep.
you know, that was the best part of the whole thing, I
Right,
thought.
right.
I mean, if he just did that for
Yeah,
10 minutes, I
exactly.
would say that,
Yeah, I agree with you.
Joe, I can't see.
You're good?
Oh,
Okay, Mr. Dixon, would you please call our first case number 6500, please?
All right, case 6500, an application to upgrade a Class D beer-only license to a Class BR beer, wine, and liquor license open for one meal only to be issued to Sandra L. McKelvin for the use of 1623 Brewing Company LLC, trading as Craft Culture, 5975 Exchange Drive, Suites H through L, Eldersburg, Maryland, 21784 in Election District 5. In the file of this matter, we have the following documents. Plans, there's an April 26, 2024 notice of public hearing. There's an April 19, 2024 notice of public hearing. There is a response to Joe Vance's request to various state and local agencies from Lisa Staley Health Department. This establishment does not meet the requirements of this office. See the attached memorandum. And then there is an April 8th, 2024 letter from Joe Vance to Sandra L. McKelvin. Then there's an application, and the application includes charter reference, landlord approval, and a menu. I would ask that the file be entered into evidence.
We'll accept that into evidence. This time, all those who intend to testify in this case, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by Ms. Vance. Are you three people back there intend to testify in any way?
We thought we needed character witnesses, but we were just told we didn't.
Swear them in anyway.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. All may be seated. As you testify and speak, those microphones, you can pull them in front of you if they're closer. The first time you speak, please state your full name and address for the record, please. Spell your last name. Who's going to start?
I guess I'll start. Sandra Lynn McKelvin, McKelvin, 1146 Colonel Joshua Court.
Where's that?
Oh, sorry, Westminster, Maryland, 21157.
Michael McKelvin, 1146, MC, KELVIN, 1146 Colonel Joshua Court, Westminster, Maryland, 21157.
That's the same address she gave?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what you'd like to do and why.
I'll take that one. So what we're looking to do at 1623 has been in the back of our minds for the last 2 years. Others have done it well ahead of us, and the economics of the brewing industry have really changed since COVID. Being a brewer in the state of Maryland is maybe the most difficult thing to do right now. 17 breweries have closed and/or pulled their brewery and planning status with the state. The economy is such that it's tough for a brewery tap room to stand alone anymore as a place for someone to just come and taste the wares of the brewery. As even some have done in our county, we're seeking to be able to add a kitchen and be a full-service restaurant in our tap room size, in our tap room side of the house. What that requires me to do, and Keith is very aware, I've had to change our brewery license, and that's what gets to Ms. Staley's argument of we're not prepared to be this particular establishment right now. But we have three things working right now. We're in process with permits to build a kitchen. We're in process with the state to change our brewery license from a Class 5 to a Class 7, which is basically allows us to be a microbrewery, keeping our production below 45,000 barrels a year. And then the license before you to allow us to serve other beverages other than beer, or the products we make. We can do seltzer too, because that's within the beer framework. that change is hard, believe it or not. It comes with multiple facets. The 45,000 barrel a year for the brewery is tough to get to, but it was, when we came before you back in 2019, it was the goal. With distribution contraction, there are less distributors now than there were back then. We're basically working with 4 distributors statewide. There's a couple of small ones, but 4 distributors statewide that control the entire beer industry. And all of them have a big brother above them. And what I mean by that is Budweiser and Sapporo are running the state right now when it comes to beer, even pushing Miller and Coors to the side. Budweiser sent out $150 million to U.S. distributors to push Kona Brewing because they were losing market share because of all the controversy or whatever you want to believe with Bud Light. So imagine we're out there fighting for tap handles we used to have while distributors are getting cash payments from the manufacturers to push Kona Brewing out there. Those 2 facets, just the regular economy, the entertainment dollar's not going as far for everyone now, and the fact that we're having a difficult time on the distribution market, we're looking to start fresh, as it were. Allow the tap room to be a little bit more, family-friendly, you know, not just one person from the family who only likes beer, but the entire family to show up, and offer a little bit more in entertainment from the standpoint of we're hoping to be an upscale sports bar at this point for the tap room side. One of the things I don't want to take away from this, want you to take away from this meeting, we're still a brewery, and we're still manufacturing in the state of Maryland, and we're still pushing to hopefully get to that point where the 45,000 barrels a year is a problem. But we're not even close. We're about, just to give you an idea, we're about 10% of that, maybe even a little less at this point. So what we're hoping that we can have here is the start of something that allows us to reinvest in the brewery side, really attack the distribution side differently, and raise the entire, as it were, raise the entire tide for the brewery. As we venture into adding other alcohols, the one thing that we want to maintain is we're very much about the craft, and it's the reason why we put a name on the tap room now of craft culture, craft beer, craft cocktails, craft food. And what we mean by craft cocktails, and I actually had some time to talk to Keith about this, we're not going to have, you can't get a shot at our place. You can't come in and order a Jack and Coke. You can't, there's no free flow or free pour from the 22-year-old bartender. What you're going to get, we're going to pre-mix all the drinks. We're going to pour them out of taps. We're going to change that menu 3 times a year along with our food menu to give people something different. There will be a bourbon-type cocktail. There will be a gin cocktail. There will be a rum cocktail. We're going to pre-make it. It's going to be set at the alcohol level of that 1.5 ounce that most people pour at, and that's where it'll stop right there. There'll be no ability for the 22-year-old bartender to add a little topper. The bottles won't be there. They won't have the chance to do that. So as we look to advance what we're doing, what we're asking of you all is to allow us to cultivate that and hopefully improve the entire business nature of what we've been able to do at 1623. From a community standpoint, I think it's really important to lay out. In the 4 years that you all have allowed us to be down there at 5975, we've raised over $1 million, or been directly a part of $1 million in charitable contributions. Now, I get the benefit of just under 900,000 of that being for Carroll Hospital and hospice and Dove House. But we've also calculated over 400,000 more in other charities, small and large, leukemia and lymphoma, Fletcher Falcone, all the way to local 501c3s benefiting family members and things like that. So I think in this short period of time, we've become, well engrossed in the community. We've made sure we lived up to everything we told you we would the last time we were here. Family-owned, community-driven, and we're still providing that. Just to finish off on the letter from Ms. Staley at the Health Department, one of the things that I will tell you that we're really excited about, Sandy and I are not restaurateurs. My best cooking is on the grill in the backyard on a Sunday. You wouldn't want to eat anything other than that I prepare. But we have a nice collaboration with the Liberatore family, who have come in and agreed to help us with the kitchen, help us do the right things by the kitchen, make sure the HACCP plans and all of the things that are required of having a kitchen, all of those types of inspections. We've collaborated with them to help us build this out, permit it out, and as Sandy and I say, I think we've brought together two great Carroll County families to make a nice contribution to hopefully the whole county, not just the southern portion of it. I think that's it in a nutshell. I'm wide open for questions, and Sandy's actually the license holder, but
He's the
she likes
talker.
when I talk.
That's an unusual situation. What in the world are duck fat fries?
So I asked the same question. The duck fat fries are fries that are actually made to the point of just short of done, and at the last minute in a separate, smaller fryer, duck fat is added so that you get that burst of flavor from the actual duck fat. And then we went through a full taste test, of which it took 2 days to recover. They're pretty good.
So at what point are you with the kitchen build?
This entire process, we're hoping beginning of beginning of June. That's why we wanted to get in front of you, get in
To
front.
be completed or to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to resubmit, we've already gotten fire marshal comments back, we've gotten the health department's full comments back, plumbing inspector's been there, electrical inspector's been there. We feel like we're on track, as the same as when we went to open the brewery. Some of it's equipment that we're waiting on. That might delay us being able to say, absolutely, we're going to open on this date. It will not happen before June 1st. And we're basically asking you to approve us, but hold the liquor license in abeyance until the state has told Keith we're good to go from that licensing side. And then, obviously, the use and occupancy from permit office. And then at that point, we would ask if you could release the liquor license.
So you're pretty far on the kitchen.
Yes.
I built a restaurant in this county too, and you're far.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
you're
it's,
doing good.
we're definitely,
Good, good, good.
it's hard.
Yeah.
I've built a lot of things as Mr. Brawning, and I believe Mr. Barnhart was part of that conversation the first time we came through. We talked a lot of construction post-meeting, and I do a lot of construction in the state. That little 16 by 20 kitchen, I've never seen so many comments on a permit before.
What will be the hours that you will be serving food?
So right now, the plan is to be open, we're going to add a day. The plan is to be open Tuesday to Sunday. The hope is, and, obviously, we've got to test some things out, but the hope is really to do lunch and dinner service every one of those days with a brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. Because as part of that upscale entertainment value that we hope to do, we actually, something that we've been hearing a lot about is how much people want, they have nowhere to watch Premier League soccer and English League soccer and all that, and they would like that opportunity if we were making these changes. And Sandy and I are always looking for a brunch place, so we said, brunch seems like that could be a fun thing to add. There's not a lot of brunch going on around the county.
Right. So Saturday and Sunday is brunch day.
Brunch, lunch, and dinner. Well, brunch, and I think the way the kitchen is gonna rotate, it's gonna be a brunch till 2, and then lunch until 4:30 or 5. At that part, I don't remember, and then the full-blown dinner menu.
And will there be a liberatory in that kitchen, or they just,
Well, there will not be a Liberatory in the kitchen, but I can tell you that Nick Liberatory, who runs all of the Libs Grills, he is co-managing with our daughter Cameron.
okay.
She's not cooking.
She's not cooking.
She's not cooking.
So if I check that menu correctly, there's not a full dinner entree
So
restaurant-type menu.
there is, for example, the fish and chips is every bit of a dinner platter. We've changed it. We want it to be more shareable, so we're cutting it so that it is a shareable item, but it's a dinner entree. It's a full plate of fish and chips. It's an 8-ounce piece of fish. All of the taco salad, for example, or the tacos, the nachos, the fish, there's a 4 ounces of tuna going there. These are full-size pieces. The hot dog is it's a full brat. It's almost 10 inches long. So there is, but we want it to be more shareable in nature. We want the table to come together. We're not coursed. So if you come with 4 people and the one person is late, the first person to order is getting their food. And then the second person that comes in and they're ready to order, they're getting their food. We're not going to course this. We're not turning tables. We're not seeing how many people we get in. We want you to still come and feel like you're still at 1623, where it's that group family environment. So you walk in, you might be the only one hungry, and you can order from anywhere on the menu, and as soon as it's ready, it's coming, and then somebody sees your plate and says, you know what, let me try that too, or let me try this piece, and that's coming. And most of them are in the shareable size, which are absolutely entree size.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at, you're not going to have any New York strip steaks or chicken parmesan or,
No. You'll be able to get a
Like
full,
that.
you'll be able to get a full salad with a protein, so you'll be able to get the chicken on top, a steak on top, or a crab cake on top, but we're not doing steaks. Quite frankly, we're trying to avoid the Liberatories menu altogether.
And where would the liquor come from?
So.
You will make that on premises?
No, so we'll craft the cocktails on premise, and that's one of the reasons we have to change the manufacturing license.
Yeah.
To do that, you have to be able to do it. So we'll work with Breakthrough Beverage or someone like that to bring wine. And then we will eventually look for a decent partner to bring bulk so that we can craft. They don't exist right now. We were thinking along the lines of, we'd like to see if we could make this a somewhat parochial venture where we could maybe get bulk from a Covalent or a Patapsco right down the street. Scott and his wife have been great to us. So we'd love to see if there's a way that, we could do it that way. Don't want them to have all that expense of the bottles and try to figure out a price that makes sense to everybody. If we could somehow bulk it and be able to deliver it that way. That's something that hasn't been done, and so I don't know at what size does it become problematic. So we want to make sure that we're staying within the boundaries of what they can do physically and what we're allowed to do.
Part of your business is retail, selling to retail outlets?
Yeah, so Keith's very familiar with our place. We call it one side of the glass or the other. So the taproom side of the glass would be set aside as the restaurant. The opposite side of the glass is strictly 1623 Brewing and still distributing and sending beer to market.
Has there been a contraction in the other side of the glass?
Oh, yeah.
So this proposal that you're bringing to us and to others is basically to enhance your financial viability in the current market.
Absolutely.
So if I understand correctly what you're saying, if I walk in there, if I order a Manhattan or a Old Fashioned or a Margarita or something, it's already prepared.
Prepared.
So
We-
it's not gonna be a full-service bar. I don't understand most of the drinks and so on and so forth, where they come up with the names. I have no idea. They have nothing to do with the product sometimes. But you're gonna have a limited bar.
Right. What you won't see when you come in, you won't see a rail of glassware of bottles. You're not gonna see every Deep Eddies that ever was invented, or all of the different vodkas, or all of the different bourbons. You're not gonna see that. We'll have already made the cocktail. There's gonna be garnish. We're gonna need some entertainment value. We're gonna smoke the bourbon cocktail, but it's already gonna be made. There's gonna be the garnish and things like that to make sure that you don't feel like you came to a paper cup establishment.
So if somebody, what I'm getting at is somebody comes in there and orders some kind of drink, you've got some of the ingredients of it, but you won't be able to make it other than what you've got prepared.
Correct. If someone, like, I enjoy a Makers and Ginger. I can't get a Makers and Ginger at my place.
This might be a little off topic, but I've been to 1623 Brewing a bunch of times. I really think you run a great establishment. You ever thought about acoustic mitigation in that room? Because that has dissuaded us from having certain meetings there.
And so, one of the things we did, we stopped music. At first, we stopped music from the standpoint of you weren't allowed to bring a drum anymore.
Okay.
And then that didn't work. So then we made it, you had to be acoustic only, and even that, some of those get a little out of hand. I don't know if you've ever noticed, in the ceiling, we actually spent $14,000 on those tiles that are in the ceiling to try to keep the bounce down. That was original. And it's just, even that, I couldn't imagine what it'd be like without those. So we have considered, actually, on those big cinder block walls that we have painted black right now, we were actually looking, is there a tasteful way to do something on those walls to limit the bounce? It's hard. It's our pet peeve, too.
I've seen some great product of just acoustic tiles that you can put on like a concrete wall, and they're black.
Right.
And I did a little research on that, and they seem to work, and they're not expensive. But I get off, I'm off on a tangent. Just, yeah.
You have to remember he's a bass player.
We don't mind bass players.
Should.
It's the lead guitarist that always gets us.
You could cut all that noise down if you take all them amplifiers away from them, because they only can play chords, they can't read music, most of them. And they like to have it loud, so they run you out of there.
That part I don't understand.
I never did either, and I'm a musician too, but anyway, that's beside the point.
I don't know if tuba is music, but yeah.
You ain't never heard the great Westminster Band, Westminster Little German Band. Any other questions, comments?
No questions.
As you've pointed out here, the completion of our license is, I'm sure you understand, is totally dependent upon all other departments' approval and so on and so forth. So with that, any questions of the young lady who's a licensee?
No.
Okay, I tell you what, you people came up here thinking you had to testify, and we're gonna let you testify. If you go to that microphone back there, and it's movable, state your name and address for the record, please.
Donald Smith, 1148 Colonel Joshua Court, Westminster, Maryland.
Donald, I'm gonna ask each of you 2 questions to make your trip worthwhile. Do you feel that there's a need for this type of establishment in your area?
Yes.
And do you feel that these people are proper and the type of person that you would like to see run an establishment like this?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Next lady.
Lisa Henneman, 1125 Colonel Joshua Court, Westminster, Maryland, 21157.
Do you concur for the answer that he gave for the same questions?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to make you all feel like you didn't waste time coming up here, okay?
Sandy's going to buy him lunch.
Yeah,
Oh, is that right?
I think so.
Man, I didn't put the "and" there.
Cecilia Gallagher, 1253 Old Westminster Pike, Westminster, Maryland, 21157.
Do you agree with the previous testimony?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions of these three character references?
No.
If not, you have heard unofficially that you're going to have treated to lunch. I could recommend a nice place where they have good lobster tails. Any other questions?
I have no questions.
Okay, with that, testimony and evidence has been presented and is closed. I forgot to ask you.
Just want to point out, they did have one alcohol violation back in October 2020. They were checked 3 times and failed once. And everything Mike said about the state, I've talked to the state, and they're in the process of changing the license, and pending their approval, pending your approval, we'll come up with a date.
Good. Now testimony and evidence is closed. We'll discuss the merits of the application. Commissioners, you've heard the testimony and evidence as presented. We need to hopefully make a decision.
So it's obvious that you've come up with a vision that is needed in the area. I'll ease your minds a little bit. I was not a restaurateur either. I just knew business when I opened my restaurant, and we lasted over a decade before we were off with the proverbial buyout by corporate America. So I can tell that this vision of yours is something that you really want to move forward with and make successful. And being good business owners, you've surrounded yourself with people that are going to help you make that successful. So just because you're not a restaurateur, don't make that get in your head and think it's never going to work, because it's obvious that you're doing all the right things. You've been successful all this time. I know you do great stuff for the community. I work for the library. I know we do events down there. It's very popular, and I commend you for everything that you have done for nonprofits around this community. That being said, I would pass it over to Commissioner Barnhart for his comments.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything that Commissioner Mulwiney said. 1623 Brewery is a wonderful asset, I think, to the Carroll County community. And I think the community would very much like to see your business thrive. And I think your reimagining that you've just described to us will get you there. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, sometimes business, and but you're diversifying somewhat, and I think that's a great idea. And I wish you all the best of luck, and I wholeheartedly endorse your application. If there are no other comments,
Somebody make a motion, please.
I will make a motion to, in the case, Mr. Chairman, I move in case 6500, that the application to upgrade a Class D be granted.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second that motion based on the approval of all other entities that need to approve prior to this happening.
Any further discussion on the motion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. Congratulations. Best wishes, and we hope that everything works out to the best of your abilities, and we look forward to visiting there again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck, and thank you. Thank you for you three witnesses.
Enjoy lunch.
Right. Maybe you could sample those duck fries.
Not sure I want to go there.
Oh, sure.
Okay, at this time, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and I see our schedule was at 11 o'clock at the library.